must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
One of the most important discussions that we're going to have on this particular trip is the commuter railway between the CBD and JKIA Airport. Our aspiration is to see that this commuter railway project, first of all, eases traffic in Nairobi, but it also eases movement of people within Nairobi. Another important project that's going to be discussed here, of course, is the Nairobi-Nakuru-Mau highway. This is going to be a dual carriage highway, and as all of you know, this particular highway is congested at the moment. So we hope that extending this highway, which is going to be about 200 kilometers, again, it will ease traffic on that particular very, very important route.
With great pleasure that despite this pandemic that has created a very difficult situation for all of us globally, we have come to an understanding that even as we protect ourselves, even as we protect our health, we have to also understand that the world doesn't stop. The game must continue, the show must continue, and we must continue to see how do we get out of this together. And I want to congratulate you, Mr. President, for the understanding that no single country can deal with this alone. This is a global fight. This is a global war, and we can only win together. No single country can win this battle alone. We're here to tell you of the opportunities that exist in Kenya, the opportunities that exist within our young people, and how by closely collaborating, we can actually lift ourselves as a continent and as a country out of poverty, but at the same time create opportunities for young people, create opportunities for entrepreneurs to be able to tap into this wealth and mighty potential that the African continent has, which is our young people. I tell people all the time, we look at the African continent sometimes from a perspective of its natural wealth, the gold, the diamonds, the oil, the gas. But what we tend not to see is what is the true African potential. And the true African potential is our young men and women and the capacity they have to participate with you to build a greater and better world for all of us. It's been a great pleasure working with Emmanuel over the last few years. I believe he's a man who is understanding that the future of France on the African continent does not necessarily reside in its history, but in the potential that Africa has for mutual prosperity as we work together to build our respective economies, grow prosperity. We know we have huge problems, for example, with regard to migration that make people have this feeling or this understanding that all that Africa can contribute is migrants. But you must ask yourself, why do these young men and women risk their lives to cross thousands of miles of land, risk their lives to cross the waters of the Mediterranean? It is in search of opportunity. It is in search of opportunity. But imagine the power of us working together, of tapping that opportunity while it is still in Africa. A chance, therefore, of creating a prosperous proposition for all of us, while at the same time ensuring the safety, the security, and the peace of our two continents. This is why I'm here, and I'm looking forward to having fruitful engagement with each and every one of you as we tell you of the opportunities that exist in Kenya, that exist in Africa, and the potential of us working together into the future. I thank you very much, Emmanuel. Thank you. Technology is an area where I think you can tap into great potential when we do business processes outsourcing, where there exists potential, because the one thing that one must recognize is that we were late in joining the technology advancement. So we don't have the baggage or the backlog of having old infrastructure. We were able to leapfrog and to jump a stage and reach into newer technologies. And that is why, for example, mobile penetration in Kenya, for example, is now almost 98%. The majority of our population, for example, was unbanked. And it therefore made innovation that much more attractive. Mobile money all of a sudden became the most important way for our people to access financial services. And today, as a result of technology, Kenya has moved from a position less than 10 years ago where only 30% of our population was banked, to now almost 90% of our population that is banked through mobile money. And through there, the introduction of different services, from insurance services to different apps that provide various governmental services. For example, we use mobile technology to offer more than 200 different services to our people in a much more affordable manner, in a much more reachable manner. So technology and the development of applications is an area of huge potential. Second, we're also talking about an infrastructure gap. Huge potential existing on the continent in terms of connectivity, road, rail, infrastructure. Just yesterday, myself and President Macron witnessed the signing of a contract with one of your big companies here, who are investing 1.3 billion euro into road projects. A road project, and the first and the largest road project done by private sector. Usually we're here banging on Emmanuel's door seeking financial assistance. But it was wonderful yesterday to see the private sector step up and have the confidence to invest in Kenya, to invest in infrastructure, with the realization that the returns are going to be good, with the understanding that with the stability that we have in our country, their investments are safe. So once again, we encourage you to look at this infrastructure shortfall and see that not as a negative aspect, but a huge opportunity for French investors as well. The financial sector, like I'm saying, through mobile money is another sector. The service sector that is rapidly growing is also another sector. And as Africa starts to go under the Africa Free Trade Arrangement, there also exist huge opportunities in manufacturing. You're talking about a population on the African continent in excess of 1 billion people who need everything from toothbrush to toothpaste to shoes to socks. This is another huge opportunity that exists there, and using our ability now as an African continent to come together, there is a huge opportunity in manufacturing for European and especially French companies in this particular instance. So these are just but a few areas that I think, with greater cooperation, with greater trust, and with greater understanding of each other, could be opened to French entrepreneurs.
You run a wonderful country. I was the first French president to visit it, which is crazy, but this is it. And you run it marvelously. You have to deal with COVID-19, with a lot of issues, but you decided to come to France for this event. I want to tell you. Because I proposed to Mr. President to come and see French entrepreneurs, SMEs, mid and large caps, and to have an open discussion. Because I do believe it's extremely important, both for France and Kenya, to have a better knowledge of each other and to see all the opportunities you can find in this country, but as well how our French companies can bring something to your country. Provide our solutions, our innovations, our entrepreneurship, and be part of your success.
So these are like meeting rooms when you're having, you book it and, otherwise you get back to your desk. Yeah? Hi, how are you? Yeah? Nice to meet you as well. I hear you're trying to create life on Mars. Basically within food, your water, yeah? On Earth, yes. Wow. Well done.
That's ambitious, but great.
You indeed told me that a jobless Kenyan is a desperate Kenyan. You told me also that a hungry Kenyan is a negative Kenyan. You told me that a sick Kenyan is a weak Kenyan. And you also told us that a homeless Kenyan is a Kenyan without hope. You, the Kenyan people, spoke clearly. We want dignity. We want to put enough food on our tables. And we want a lower cost of living. We listened. Since, and on reflection, I have come up with 4 responses to these concerns, and I call them the big 4. Food security, affordable housing, manufacturing, and affordable health care for all.
That is the position on the big 4. Food security, health, universal health care, housing, affordable housing, manufacturing. Many of the people in the rural areas would like to know how food security is very important. To have food enough for eating and surplus for export. To have enough food to feed families. Many people would like to know what universal health care is. We need to start to talk to people, to tell them, to do documentaries. How is the fishing? What type of fishing can be done on a small 1 acre? We need to go out inside in the villages, get our teams that can come up with all documentaries, weekly, daily, so that fishing can be improved. Fishing can become one of the food. When people talk about food in Africa, Miriam, in Siaya, for example, people think of the maize, but fish is also a food item that must be stored, that must have facilities for.
The fourth element is food security and nutrition. Since independence, we as a people have sought to ensure that our citizens enjoy food security and proper nutrition. And while we have made good progress, the challenge, however, remains yet to be fully conquered. It is time to address once and for all the multiple and interlocking factors that leave too many Kenyans at risk of hunger. Our immediate actions start now. We will bring targeted taxation to bear to put arable land to use. We will continue to encourage and facilitate large-scale commercial agriculture to diversify our staples through irrigation and other technologies. We will protect our water towers. Small-scale farmers will receive better extension services and market access, and subsidies will be redesigned to improve food yields and production quality.
We have said 3 items: obstacles, success, and the challenges. One of the obstacles is when the agenda was set out, there was quite a lot of politics that was involved. So time has come for us to remove politics from it and assure the people, the ordinary people, the ordinary mwananchi, citizen of Kenya, that if you have this, you can improve the food security. If you do this, you'll improve the healthcare system. If you do this, if you can plan for a cheaper housing in your local area, a cheaper industry, an industry, a cottage industry. For example, look at what we want people. How many youths can gather themselves into a group in Kayole? 10 youths. If you can be washing people's clothes, ironing them, their shirts, when they come from school, they pay you 300 shillings or 100 shillings, Bob, or 20. And if you are doing that as a small group, this is, you see, a small cottage industry begins there. Then you end up with a huge, dry cleaner in Kayole, made by youth. But most of the people in our African context, especially Kenya and Uganda and other places, people are focused on the government getting them the jobs. But there is a job. There is the youth fund where you can go and borrow 50,000 shillings and buy dryer, buy this, buy that. You iron people's clothes. There are so many people who are lazy who want, I'm not condemning them, but they go to work very early in the morning. They don't have time to wash this cloth. But you can say, bring your shirts here. You'll have them in the tomorrow morning. You put in a dryer, iron, another youth is ironing. You earn your living. You create employment for yourselves and for the people surrounding you.
So job creation.
I want you in this spirit to also turn to the person sitting or standing next to you. Greet them and say how proud you are to be Kenyan, and tell them that you are their keeper. Because to be Kenyan, at its core, is about loving your neighbor.
Thank you very much. Welcome back to Punchline Africa TV, broadcasting all the way from Nairobi, the Republic of Kenya. Viewers, wherever you are in Africa, this is our Plan African station, a station that looks at African issues, what ails Africa, what kills Africa. How can we resolve our own problems without inviting any other person to come to this continent to bring us more headache. Do we have a lot of headache? Do we have progress? This time is Kenya. In Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta has brought what we call a transformational agenda, an agenda that is going to take shape, that can bring Kenya by 2022 to world-class economy, to world-class health people, a universal health care, to world-class food security, to world-class affordable housing, and to increasing jobs through manufacturing and construction of houses. President Uhuru Kenyatta has stated that this is the most important aspect of his legacy, that he would like to leave a legacy in Kenya by having these items tackled. You in the county, wherever you are in this country, those representatives of ours, of the ones that are in those counties, one by one, wherever you were, in Kakamega, in Bungoma, in Turkana, in Moyale, in Mosabit, in Mandera, in Coast, most of you know what we want to be done. We want to find out exactly, and the other places, Taveta, Migori, Siaya, Kisumu, Eldoret, which is North UG, which is also Narok. We want to know what is supposed to be done. What can be done to change the lives of the people of those counties and other counties in Kenya? What can we do to change, to help the governors, the local people, the citizens? What can we do to improve our housing? What can we do to improve our food security, to have enough food such that the food can never be a problem to Africa at all? Year in, year out, or year out, year in, we are begging for donors to bring us relief food. Yet we have arable land that is underutilized. Why can't we look at the arable land and start changing methods of farming, methods, tools? How much do we need to change our food production? Britain is a quarter of this country. But Britain has enough food to keep itself for over 200 to 400 years. Our food storage, do we need to look at it? Our food preservation, do we need to look at it? To improve food security, you need to talk about all these things. And that's why President Uhuru Kenyatta has said, let's talk about them. Let's tackle them now, so that by 2022, we leave a legacy for others who will take politically the train and the leadership of this country, going on that route. Instead, what has happened in Kenya, people are not thinking of the Agenda 4. Is it because the Big 4 action plan, people don't know what they are supposed to do? Is it because the research is not enough? What is the value that you can get out of a good house? What is the value that you can get if the industry is near your home? How many of us think of creating some small cottage industries, fishing, ponds, creating a simple pond and getting fish that will grow in the pond? How many of us can think of good health care? How can we change our health care system in Kenya? How can it be changed? Can it be changed by merely all the time saying, this is what we want? Or can it be done in a different way? To think, to bring in such that every 50 to 100,000 people have got a doctor and a GP who can have a referral system to refer them to diseases that cannot be treated in those small clinics or small GPs, which are many hospitals. The onus is upon us, upon the people of Kenya, wherever they are, with the help of any other people. Our role as a television station and the media is to publicize these initiatives of the president. We publicize the media, tell it as it is, writing in digital platform, writing on our Facebook. Our numbers, several representatives all over the whole counties are busy as we talk, writing and talking about the Big Four. They are busy engaging in the Big Four activities to make sure that advocacy, campaign, publicity, to make sure that people are aware. We talk about food security. You can't have food security when you are cutting down all the trees. There will be no water. You can't have food security when you don't know whether there's water or this water is alkaline. When you see rhinos being transferred from place where water was not alkaline and taken to alkaline infested waters and they die, there is something wrong with the systems. So we need to come and talk about these things. We need to engage the citizens for them to choose what is available and what they want in their counties. Punchline Africa TV, therefore, engages the people every morning until the next coming several months. We shall be engaging people. We shall be talking about this Big Four. I now invite you to a clip that talks about the Big Four of the Jubilee administration.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.